Namaste, namaste, precious, precious souls. Welcome to Book of Life. We will be reading the degree lessons out loud. We will be starting with the Astara's Book of Life, first degree, the journey of becoming, traveling the sea of forces. Before we begin, I'd like to do a little invocation so we can connect to the celestial hierarchy, the spiritual hierarchy, and hopefully to the Astarian hierarchy. So just go ahead and close your eyes, place the tip of the tongue on the palate, just be in a nice receptive pose, do a nice slow inhalation and a slow exhalation. Nice and slow again, inhale and exhale. Inhale one more time and exhale. Keep your eyes closed, tongue still connected to the palate. Just be receptive to the Supreme One of all life, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, to all of our spiritual guides, our celestial guides, our spiritual teachers, to the great architect of the universe, to our teachers, Holy Master Choa, to Buddha Padmasambhava, the Circle of Seven, to Robert and Earlyne Chaney, to Master Astalea, Burton Bigelow, to Lord Kuthumi, Lord Rama, Lord Zoser, to the Astarian hierarchy, to the Lord Yehoshua Bar Miriam, the Lord Christ, to the Holy Mother Mary, Lord Kuan Yin Buddha, Lord Gautama Buddha, to all the great, great ones, to Sanat Kumara, the Ancient of Days, the Solar Logos, Lord Amen Ra, the Universal Logos, the Central Spiritual Sun. May we be a channel through which thy holy ones approach the world. May we be a center for the radiation of thy power. Teach us to travel light that we may better gain the heights and break the bonds that bind. Teach us to give ourselves entirely to thy service, to attune ourselves to thy will. Teach us to lay down the small personal life for the greater cosmic life, and to love with the love of God, with thanks and in full faith. Om. Amen. Om. All right. So before we begin, I'm going to read Earlyne's basically contemplation and preparation for these degree lessons by the author. The Book of Life decreed countless hours of study and research. Most of the years of this life of mine have been given over to my mental and spiritual preparedness for this voluminous task. Along with these years of study have been indescribable hours of meditation and prayer when I have striven for intuitional attunement with cosmic mind, with my own teachers and guides, authors of these lessons, and with any great teachers of the divine mystic that may have chosen me as an instrument to reflect their light and their teachings. Out of these meditations and prayers have come numerous and new revelations in connection with the research. Without these revelations, coming principally from the teachers, these lessons would be like an unlit fire, like sticks of common wood gathered carefully together and piled high, but giving no heat for the seeker of the flame. Patiently, they have worked with my mind until our attunement has become like an unbroken thread between operator and receiving set. Even so, I'm ever mindful that I, being the receiving set, am far from infallible. The teachers do not err in their sendings, but it is possible that I, in receiving them, may have erred in my understanding of the teachings as they wish them presented. Therefore, as the years go by, if errors are unveiled, it is I, with my limited mental capabilities, who am to blame. I alone must be held fully responsible. The question arises that if the teachers are infallible and if an etheric contact exists between us, how could errors occur? Could any error not be corrected? And I can only answer that any teacher working in an inspirational capacity is always limited by the mental capability of his or her disciple. If the mind of the disciple contains no knowledge of the teaching the teacher is attempting to transmit, then Even though the teacher may instruct and explain the idea over and over, it must ultimately come forth limited by the understanding, the mental scope, the receptivity of the disciple receiver. If a master artist operating through a disciple artist reveals to him or her exquisite and perfected visions of a masterpiece to be created, still the completed canvas must bear the stamp of the limited handiwork of the disciple. The master writers of Astara have thus had to work with and through my poor mind, an instrument most unworthy of the august undertaking. Realizing the significance of my task, I have truly attempted to prepare myself to be a clear channel for these sages who have done me the great honor of using my mind to create these lessons. Many years have been spent in preparing them, and it is my constant prayer, my fervent hope that only truth stands revealed. Every word written is a sincere and humble attempt to share metaphysical truth as I have been able to comprehend it. And when I say metaphysical truth, I mean only that these lessons are as the light of a candle compared to the infinite sun of the ultimate truth. But when we stumble in darkness, how incredibly revealing is the tiny flame of a candle to light our way. Earlyne Chaney. Suggestions for methods of study. Read each lesson through at your normal reading speed. Do not pause to digest it thoroughly, nor grasp each particular point. Absorb only what you can. Read it again slowly. Pause often to think through what you are learning. After reading it carefully the second time, meditate over what you have read. Your first reading will have already planted the seed thought in your mind, and it will have begun to grow so that the second reading, with careful analysis, will clarify the teaching for you. Think it over carefully. Go back to points which might be confusing. Meditate upon them until the lesson becomes an integral part of you, not something you have merely studied, but something you know. It is not expected that these teachings will be understood by the masses, nor are they meant to be. Those on a different path will not pursue them seriously. But those who are on this particular path of light may find them an increasing source of inspiration. Meditate upon the teachings. Accept that which seems truth to you, allowing it to permeate your soul. Bless and reject that which seems not to be, for such is your divine prerogative, your heritage, your free will, and your choice. It is important to understand that, as with any course of study, these degree lessons begin with concepts which are more simple and these days more familiar to the reader. As the lessons progress, they quickly become filled with deeper insight, somewhat more complex, richer in spiritual significance. So remember, you begin with the basics and gain access to the deeper mysteries of spiritual understandings as you continue your degree studies, just as did the initiates in the ancient temples of long ago. The supplementary lessons. An important supplementary section is from time to time added to the degree lessons. These supplementary lessons contain informative teachings which we feel to be imperative in the life of one seeking deeper knowledge of the mystical truths of all ages. You and self-realization. And now we approach our journey, our searchings into the depths of the self. It is the most important journey of your life, the exploration into mysteries of self-realization. But wait, an important step must precede the study. A starting point must be established. A preliminary search must be made. The importance of this step cannot be too urgently impressed upon your mind. Seek a full-length mirror if possible. Seat yourself in front of it. Sit quietly looking at your reflection and study yourself carefully. Slowly bring your thoughts to concentrate upon nothing but your image. Consider well this figure upon which you gaze, this encasement of the person who answers to your name. It represents the sum total of all you have ever experienced. Does it reflect some errors and misjudgments along the way? Are you pleased with what you see? Don't be disturbed if you are not. Continue your observations. We are going to probe still deeper. Settle your attention only upon your face for a moment. Study it intently, your lips, and the full impression of your features. Then concentrate exclusively upon your eyes. Disregard everything else. Look deeply. See through your eyes as though passing through a forbidden portal to the hidden stronghold of a vast treasure. What do you discover? Only you can answer. However, you must come to the realization during your intense study of yourself that you are only seeing the outer shell, not you at all. Your eyes will reveal more of the real you than any other feature. The full impact of this realization will be startling. You and the outer shell you are wearing as a physical body are two entirely separate things. The outer shell can be a tavern or a temple, as you choose. The you inside that physical body of yours may be almost a stranger to you. The purpose of these degree lessons is to integrate the total you, the whole person, physically, emotionally, mentally, psychically, and spiritually. And these lessons interweave the information to guide you toward a new and better life. Astara's Book of Life, The Long Journey of Spiritual Becoming, First Degree, Lesson 1. You in Astarianry. Astara came into being because of you and others like you who were born to a destiny of seeking, you and all seekers who have been victims of the eternal quarrel that has raged between an unenlightened element of theology and an atheistic, unillumined segment of science. Further, the factions of theology and science are in turn divided among themselves. There is the ultra-atheistic scientist who, failing to bend God's immensities to the measurement of his scientific concepts, declares there to be no God, as opposed to the scientist who, sensing the power of his presence in every atom, stands awed before the unfolding cosmic drama evidenced by his or her accelerated researches. And again, there is the dogmatic, hell-wielding theologian who sees a God that breathed forth the dust of humanity and planet not over 6,000 years ago, and whose wrath has threatened us since that unhappy day, as opposed to the spiritually evolved mystic whose consciousness, merging with the light, realizes the presence of God in every breath and strains at the fetters of their yet ignorance. One purpose of Astara's Book of Life indeed has been and is to create a common ground of understanding between all factions. Astarians are among those who yearn to witness a wedding between science and religion that would bring into being a new human race and a new earth. The true value of Astara in your life can only be realized if the studies are carried out in their entirety. The Astarian degree lessons are the calisthenics of consciousness and aim at gradually developing the powers of mind and soul. Their value lies not in the printed words or the prescribed exercises as ends in themselves, but in consciousness that is developed as the lessons are progressively continued. As one diligently pursues the degrees, they prove to be something more than desultory light reading. Reading the lessons can bring the permanent enhancement of metaphysical consciousness. One may feel at the beginning lessons of the first degree are too elementary, but the seeker must first seek, then become an expert, and then an eclectic. Any method presented to the seeker must have in its beginning teachings and techniques, which can be used as stepping stones to more profound philosophies. To ask or expect the seeker to rise immediately to mystical heights would, in the majority of cases, prevent the start from being made. For a system of spiritual development, To be applicable to today's seeker, it must fulfill certain well-defined requirements. It must begin with ancient wisdom techniques and teachings that can be readily grasped. Seekers in this fast-moving world of today have little opportunity or inclination to lead the life of a recluse. Therefore, the spiritual system undertaken must employ methods easily adapted to brief periods of study and practice. The modern seeker at the commencement of the path may be able to snatch only short spaces of time to give to spiritual pursuits. And the early teachings must be elementary enough to be understood, yet inspirational enough to stir the aspirations. The forces generated must not stir high psychic tensions in the seeker, for these cannot be maintained while living the hard driving life of the citizen in today's crowded, frenzied world. Methods of spiritual unfoldment satisfactory for the advanced or for the recluse would only produce stress in the beginner who pursues them while simultaneously compelled to endure the strain of modern life. The degrees present no spiritual program that would point toward an evasion of life's problems. Withdrawal from Earth's duties is not our line of progress, nor has the normal citizen of today's world any desire to escape completely from life's complexities. Although one may desire and need cycles of aloneness, nevertheless, one's principal desire is to learn from life and to create order and harmony. The Astarian does not try to escape from matter into spirit, leaving an unconquered country behind. Your purpose is to bring the Godhead down to earth, and the family of humankind may share it. To supplant the laws of humankind with the laws of God. Therefore, the Astarian degrees, beginning with fundamental teachings, develop into a system easily adapted to the busy schedule of your day. Astara presents different methods of spiritual development, knowing that the method must fit the temperament. And since Astarians represent various temperaments, each will find some method of spiritual development in the degrees appealing to each seeker's particular approach to self-realization. Astara offers methods through which God can express in your life as with little impediment as possible. It is the constant aim of Astara to make that highway to heaven, that contact with the Oversoul, as clear as is possible on the printed page. Astara is a sane, sure, safe means of bringing the full measure of God's blessings into your life, a way by which you, through your own constant endeavor, attain your own personal individual progression, your own spiritual experiences, and your own personal contact with God. Astarianry is no frantic search for a shortcut, bewildered and confused by the flood of books and literature, offering startling high-powered methods of get rich quick, get perfect quick, and eager aspirant and seeker is often swept hither and yon in search for help, for truth, and for progression. Many teachings do contain some portion that is helpful, but many also contain garbled half-truths, which lead only to frustration and disappointment. It is far better to find some one spiritual path to settle upon it, to persevere through that one path, and to spend the rest of your searching hours devoted to a program of study which will slowly unfold knowledge and understanding to you, a pathway which leads steadily upward the realms of wisdom that is the safest, surest path of attainment. Whether or not it be through Astara, the seeker would do well not to scatter their mind forces too broadly. The surest path to disappointment is taken by one who presses in all directions, never completing any one of the paths entered. You may read 1,000 books, you may join a dozen spiritual organizations, but you may not progress materially nor advance spiritually, nor will you gain any portion of mystic wisdom until you begin to absorb into your consciousness some of the principles involved in your spiritual ascent. Reading about purity of heart will not purify your heart. Reading about the pure white light of the Christ will not surround you with it. It takes some of your time to produce the white light bubble in a thought form surrounding you. And it takes time to sit quietly and send it charging throughout your entire being. Reading a book or studying a lesson will not make its principles a part of your life, and simply studying Astara's lessons will not make you an Astarian. In truth, a true Astarian is the seeker who has made Astarian principles living habits in life. This is not to say that an Astarian should study only Astarianry if they desire simultaneously to enroll in other schools. It is to say that the seeker should select certain principles indicated in one of them and persevere in a dedicated pursuit of self-unfoldment. One should not become so busy simply reading many that one finds no time to apply any. Prophecy fulfilled? Tibetan lore recounts the life of a great master teacher, Tsongkhapa, who lived and gathered many disciples in the 14th century AD. To them, he taught the ancient wisdom. To the worthy, he gave initiation. To his initiates, he gave the command to carry the light of the wisdom into the Western world in the last half of every century. In the latter part of the last century, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky founded the remarkable Theosophical Society, certainly a bringer of light to all the world. She taught of beings called Masters of the Wisdom. She described their missions, their remote establishments. Her teachings pointed the way toward freedom from established Christian dogma. This, coupled with her declaration of the Master's reality, brought the wrath of orthodoxy upon her head. She was vilified and ridiculed by both science and religion. Science condemned her for her revolutionary ideas concerning the evolution of humankind. Traditional Christianity scoffed at her idea of the masters of the great white light brotherhood, yet based its entire structure upon teachings from an incomparable teacher, Jesus, who was himself a Pita in the mysteries and who was called Master by his disciples. With the discovery of Homo habilis by the Leakeys between 1960 and 1964, archaeology has confirmed some of what Blavatsky was suggesting, finding skeletons of primates side by side with upright walking primates. This would indicate that at some time in the distant past, something accelerated normal evolution, causing selected primates to develop into the present human physical body. The human being, the soul, was of course in existence long before this occurred. Some believe visitors to our planet caused this evolutionary metamorphosis. Others believe this evolution occurred through the reincarnation of more highly evolved souls into primitive physical forms. Humankind could not have evolved directly from apes without some kind of outside interference. Blavatsky has been vindicated for her teachings concerning the existence of a few near perfect beings whom she called the Masters. Just as she established theosophy in the latter part of the last century, Astara has become, as a light bearer in this, the latter part of the 20th century. In The Secret Doctrine, Helena Blavatsky declares, in century the 20th, some disciple, more informed and far better fitted, may be sent by the masters of wisdom to give final and irrefutable proofs that there exists a science called Gupta Vidya, and that, like the once mysterious source of the Nile, the source of all religions and philosophies now made known to the world, which has been for many ages forgotten and lost to men, is at last found. Helena Blavatsky also pointed to 1975 as the time where there would come upon the earth a new spiritual impulse. Upon the power of that impulse, humanity would be uplifted toward the light as it evolved into the Aquarian age. Astara is part of that new spiritual impulse. a light bearer of the 20th and 21st century. Astara is building the steps leading upward for the feet of new humans we are becoming, and will help hold the torch from which the future light will rise to guide new age spiritual seekers. Masters of the wisdom, when you, the seeker, enter the mystery schools, you enter as a seeker, become a disciple, and emerge as an initiate to become ultimately a master of wisdom. And this is the goal Astara seeks for each Astarian, to become a master of every aspect of life. It seems superfluous to say that a master is not a master of humankind, as some have wanted to believe, but rather a master of life. The term master has been misunderstood and abused by disbelievers in the past who have failed to grasp a true meaning of the word. Meditate for a moment upon the world in general and your fellow beings. It becomes obvious that there exists a ladder of evolution and that the world is filled with souls both below you and above you on that ladder. You will at once be able to locate those below you on the evolutionary scale, struggling through a time in their life expression which marks them as younger souls with much yet to learn concerning life and its laws. It should also be obvious that the pages of history are replete with records of outstanding souls who came to earth and blazed as brilliant lights among humankind. They are still with us. They still are born to shine among us today. Admitting thus that the ladder of evolution exists before your very eyes, it should not be difficult to concede that there are even more highly evolved ones who have completed their earth schooling through many lives of varied experiences. Indeed, it is obvious that if humanity is involved in perpetual evolution, if the goal in human embodiment is ultimate perfection, there must be some who have neared this goal. These beings we call masters. Following the teachings of the masters inevitably leads to great achievements. As Jesus explained, "He that believeth in me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do." John chapter 14, verse 12. From their places on the high spiritual planes of life, the purpose of the masters is to help guide humanity still farther along on its path toward godhood, to inspire leaders on earth toward greater light, greater wisdom. Such earth leaders they call disciples and initiates. All great world leaders, inventors, writers of spiritual significance, scientists, renowned mystics, great speakers, are indeed so inspired, are guided in their destiny by these great teachers. Some leaders, whose perception has been heightened by spiritual practices and disciplines, or through natural soul evolution, are not only aware of their guidance, but are able to recognize the personality or personalities who overshadow and inspire them. Just as Socrates, Plato, and Apollonius recognized their genies, demons, and actually called them by name, they also called them gods. Astara, ancient and modern. In the days when time was dawning, there came forth the magnificent motherland, Mu, sometimes called Lemuria. It was during these early ages that the gods, or masters, physically manifested themselves as humans, and the mysteries were the dominant teachings. There first arose the Star of Astara, Temple of the White Light, as a mystery school of the Lemurian people. As that civilization rose and fell, so did Astara. Fell because the great ones withdrew their direct guidance and gradually left the life wave to its own free will. Humankind failed to measure up to so great a challenge. Some of the secrets of the mysteries were scattered. Souls whose minds dwelt only upon personal power gathered to themselves knowledge of control of the elements. and under the impact of their force, Mu fell and sank beneath the waters of the Pacific. The seekers of light turned their faces away from Mu before the fall, and carrying the secrets of the mysteries with them, scattered in 7 directions. Thus did they eventually find and found the civilization of Atlantis. The light of Atlantis shone like a star over the entire planet, and adding to its luster was the Atlantean Astara, rising again to establish the mysteries, until again the dark forces rose to wrest from the mysteries their secrets, and the tears of Atlantis melted and fused with the great flood which carried it to the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. Astara rose again in early Egypt, as did many of the other temples of the mysteries. But never again did any of the temples reveal the inner teachings of power to any save the highest initiates, and thus will it ever be. And now comes the modern day Astara. Its ability to spread its light is only as the hearts of Astarians all over the globe relearn spiritual wisdom and listen to the call of the masters, and thus the mysteries are again reestablished. The higher dimensions have long waited. The doors have been opened to alert humankind anew. The externalization of this ancient wisdom is well underway, not only through Astara, but through other chosen channels. Please note that statement carefully. Astara is not and does not claim to be the sole channel for the teachings of the master teachers. In due time, other channels, equally genuine, valid, authentic, and authorized, may come to your attention. This admission of non-exclusiveness should be one step toward your acceptance of the genuineness of Astarian activities. We do not make the mistake so often made by physical plane teachers, namely that we are the only channel to enlightenment and illumination. We are not. The masters have long awaited the birth of Astara in this dawn of a new age, a channel through which the mysteries will again be given birth, a temple of light which urges each soul to throw off the shackles of dogmas and limiting creeds and seek to become an initiate through its own self-unfoldment and God realization. Astara is a church of all religions, a school of the ancient wisdom, and a channel for the Aquarian age. Astara is a place of light for the new age soul who seeks ever to gain further spiritual knowledge and progression, who seeks ever to understand more of the cosmic and unchangeable laws of a supreme being we call God, who can remain humble in the gaining of an inner power through Astara's teaching of Lama Yoga, which can unfold all the treasures of the soul, who realizes God can best be served by serving, or through continued studies, or by prayers, or meditations, or perhaps by combining all these pathways. Astara is for souls who seek to understand well the scripture, with all thy getting, get understanding. Astara is for seekers whose spirits yearn to understand the mysteries lying buried in the words of all scriptures, who may wish to honor that which is good in their own religion, their own personal philosophy of life, yet at the same time refuse to be bound by the narrow minds of religious leaders who set forth dogmas which bind the soul to spiritual stagnation. Astara is for those who seek to retain that which is good from the ancient past and who would still cherish the God and religion of their childhood, who seek ever expanding states of consciousness, which carry them into visions of a glorious future, which help them understand a new age conception of religion, embracing the mystical, esoteric teachings of all religions. Astara's healing science. Just as the Christ, an illumined spiritual being in both Old and New Testaments, and indeed the radiant souls of all the world's religions from today to as long ago as the time of Zoser himself, have seen the connection between healing and spiritual activity. So does the Astara include healing as a paramount part of its spiritual program. Thus, a part of what we offer you is to instruct you in Astara's healing science, how it can benefit you, and how it can be of importance in the life of every Astarian. This is not to suggest that you need to become a healer, however. The 7 substances. First, we must refer to the composition of your physical form. The body you wear is composed of 7 degrees of matter or substance. These 7 substances vary in density or vibration. So far as Earth's scientists are concerned, your form is composed of only 3 substances: solids, liquids, gases. However, interpenetrating this physical form is a shadow form which we call the etheric double. Since it is an exact duplicate of the physical form, but composed of 4 higher physical substances we call ethers. The etheric body is the body of life force, of vitality, of energy. Without it, the physical form is devoid of life. The etheric form is the mold or pattern upon which the dense physical form is built. It is the battery which recharges the physical form with life force. The etheric body possesses force centers for assimilating and absorbing spiritual forces, such as the physical form possesses organs and glands to distribute hormones. These vital force centers are called chakras. This etheric double is at all times indrawing tremendous psychic and spiritual forces through its various chakras and sending them through the glands of the physical body, as well as via the bloodstream, about which we shall write later. This etheric double interpenetrates every cell of the physical form. It must at all times be able to properly discharge its duties of operation, that of properly assimilating and distributing the life forces of the universe through its own centers. And it must at all times be properly attuned to the dense physical form if perfect health is to manifest. The chakras of the etheric body superimpose and interpenetrate the glands of the dense physical form. These force centers indraw the solar, pranic, and life forces of the atmosphere and pour them into the physical form via their counterparts, the physical glands. The chakras are the sockets into which the glands are plugged for the life forces to flow into the physical form. In later lessons, we shall give details of the chakras and their location in the body. Directing the healing forces. Your body becomes ill. What has happened? The physical and the etheric forms have somehow become disconnected. The physical is cut off from its source of life force. Some connecting wire between the 2 forms has been either severed or damaged, and just as your electric light goes out when not plugged into the source of its power, so does your inner light go out. Your body is filled with darkness. The cells starve for the life force, vitality, energy, and slowly die if the connection is not repaired. How does Astara fit into the healing picture? How are the Astarian healings manifested? What force is at work to help you regain your physical perfection, sometimes instantaneously, sometimes overnight, sometimes requiring longer? The incredible healing power which operates under the direction of the subconscious mind via the sympathetic nervous system is available to everyone. It is a life force which, properly directed, could keep perfect every physical form, could heal every disease known to humankind. This force is given many names. Sometimes it is called prana. Astarians usually refer to it as the white light. The secret is to understand how to direct this life force to release tensions within and to stimulate its vibration to bring all the cells into harmony. Medical science often stimulates the action of this force through wonder drugs, which sometimes are most effective but which often carry several toxic side effects. Astara releases the same healing force within with full intensity upon the inner world and upon the acceleration and direction of the inner forces. Astara employs the use of prayer and meditation, visualization of the white light, affirmation of the power of its presence, stimulating through focalized thought force the tremendous life energy in and surrounding the physical form. On page 11 is the crown chakra, the top of the head, focalizing in the pineal gland and the brow chakra in the pituitary. The throat chakra superimposes the thyroid, the heart chakra, both the thymus gland and the heart, the solar plexus chakra, the liver and the adrenals, the navel chakra, the navel and spleen and root chakra, the male prostate, and the female uterus. Through this focalized mental energy, the white light force acts like a magnet. Stimulated within, it begins immediately to attract from the swirling sea of ethers around us the sweeping currents of white light, which are waiting to be drawn into any reservoir of like force. Thus, stimulated, the physical form becomes an electromagnetic force field, surging with increased power and drawing more and more potent currents into itself from the surrounding ethers. Every molecule, every atom which builds up the cells is built around a minute place of light, which is a spiritual force. It is this infinitesimal light dot, divine in aspect, which is the secret power that holds together the atom and the molecule. It is the sun of the molecular solar system. The atom is nothing more than a tiny solar system charged with electric and magnetic power. In the illustration on the next page, we have attempted to show you the actual three-dimensional structure and complexity of the body's force field. This diagram is derived from scientific findings using recently developed and highly sensitive instruments. To best understand the illustration, imagine that your body is like a pebble dropped in a pond, creating whirlpools on the surface of the water and radiating outward from you in ever greater circles. We have shown this effect on our imaginary surface represented by the broken lines. Now, examine these waves closely, and you will notice that their touching points are represented by dots or nodes. To keep the illustration simple, we have not completed the loops between all the nodes radiating from the body. These nodal points have been detected by highly sensitive instruments, and it has been found that the pattern of these node changes with the person's thoughts. This then indicates that this wave of force or auric field is altered by mental activity. Now, imagine yourself in a sea of ethers rather than water flowing in and around you. And imagine the dots and their waves completely surrounding you from head to toe, constantly changing and interacting with each other with the speed of thought. This then is the true three-dimensional picture of your aura. Since one's physical form is completely composed of atoms, molecules, and cells, one's entire form is permeated throughout with these infinitesimal solar systems. It is reasonable to inquire that if this is so, how does disease come to any part of any human form? The answer simply must be that these cells are cut off from their spiritual supply from the ethers. If the atmosphere around us is completely charged with vitality and currents of life force, why then cannot our physical form automatically indraw enough of it to supply a perpetual flow so that we could never experience illness? In today's world, we are often surrounded with an aura of negative mental wavelengths, a force field full of hates, prejudices, fears, atheistic concepts, doubts about a supreme being, anxieties about our future, and a complete lack of security and stability, low moral concepts, corrupted spiritual values. Ours can be a force field vacant of faith, love, divine assurances. These negative mental forces completely overpower the life force in the etheric body. Indeed, the wonder is that the physical form can survive at all, embattled on every hand as it is by mental forces that will not stabilize long enough to recharge and revitalize the cells of which it is composed. So the picture is the electric force field and its nodes surrounding the body. So it's mentioned here something very, very interesting, and that's basically the atoms, right? In the cells of the body. I remember reading years ago in Alice Bailey through the Holy Master Jewel Cool that all dis-ease is a manifestation of inhibited soul life somewhere in the body. This is a parallel understanding of that same principle. So understanding that, let's do a little experiment, okay? So just go ahead and close your eyes. And if you have any pain somewhere in your body, or there's something, if there's a dis-ease somewhere in your body, either mentally or emotionally or etherically, energetically, physically, I want you to just bring your awareness to that area of the body and imagine a color, if you will, of whatever that blockage or whatever that is that it looks like. And whatever that color is to you, I want you to bring your focus or your awareness to the center of that color or that dis-ease or that area. And in the center of that, you will notice a tiny, tiny molecule of light. And I want you to focus on that molecule of light. Move toward that light. And as you move toward that light, that darkness or that dis-ease disappears because now you are becoming one with the light. And as you inhale and exhale, just continually affirm, I am one with the light. I am one with the great consciousness, which is God. Every molecule, every atom in my being, of my being, is one with the great white light. And just be still and be aware. And imagine yourself surrounded, enfolded, embraced with that pure white light. And just mentally affirm, I fully release any and all areas of darkness, of dis-ease, of inhibited soul life, whatever this means, whatever this represents, wherever it came from. It's free to go. I release it and let it go. Let it go. It has served its purpose. I cut, cut, cut. I release any and all attachments. I am one with the light. Lord God, I welcome your light in me. And just be still with that light. Inhale and exhale. Slowly open your eyes. How do you feel? You feel a little blissful, a little more peaceful? Good, 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 good. Turning the key to the reservoir. Astara's healing petitions, when properly employed, are one of the Astarian's keys to a great reservoir of healing power. This is a petition upon which you may, if you wish, write your name and address and brief description of any affliction which you choose to change. Your name should be signed. Your personal signature is extremely important, for it carries with it a powerful etheric connection to yourself. After filling out your petition, photograph it in your mind as you concentrate your gaze upon it. A spiritual emanation will pour out from a point between your eyes, an area that the ancients called the third eye, and will flow to and around the petition. An etheric counterpart of your healing petition will thereby be created, which will remain in your own aura. You will be taught later about this powerful light which flows from the eyes. For the present, let us refer to it as the eye radiance. This eye radiance was well known by theurgists of old and by the hierophants or masters of the mysteries. It was called by many names, such as a stream of visual power, a virtue, a vital energy, an invisible antenna, a force from the soul, a vapor of cosmic energy. After gazing upon your healing petition for a moment, center your attention upon the Astarian symbol of the lotus in the seven-pointed star printed upon it. Establish contact with this symbol through the eye radiance. Then close your eyes and see if you can create an image of it in the recesses of your mind. Later, when you think of the petition, after having sent it to us, simply transfer your attention to the symbol. Mentally, try to see it blazing in a radiant white light, which enfolds and heals you. This is replacing the thought form of the affliction with one of positive healing. If you have a picture of yourself taken when you were young, strong, well, happy, place it so that your eyes can often fall upon it. Likewise, if you have a mental image of the spiritual being you desire to be, hold it fast in your mind. Meditate upon it when you say your positive affirmations. See it surrounded with white light. Try mentally to see yourself as the picture portrays it or as the being you want to be. Build a radiant thought form of yourself to prevent or replace the negative one, and hold to that vision of you, the person you choose to be. Assisted self-healing. Next, go to some quiet place where you can be alone. After you receive instructions in your breathing portion of Lama Yoga, practice it first, if you wish. Pray earnestly, sincerely, and from deep in your heart, holding the healing petition between your hands. Close by saying or meditating on this affirmation. I am whole. I am filled with light. I am perfect. I am filled with light. The light fills every cell of my body. This light surges into, around, and through my blood, making it a fountain of light and life, bringing purity, vitality, youth, and beauty into my being. I am in the infinite light, and the infinite light is in me. I am surrounded by the pure white light of the Christ, the pure white light of the Buddha, or name any other avatar that you wish. Only good can come to me. Only good shall go from me. I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks. When you reach the line, I am in the infinite light, and the infinite light is in me, mentally project a tremendous upsurge of power through the top of your head and unite you with the great oversoul, which is your high self, of which we will speak in later lessons. As you repeat, I am surrounded. Wait for the answering downpouring. You will feel it. If not the first time you pray, then soon. Do not be impatient, but sincerely keep watching and waiting. It will come. At this point, you may also ask for healing assistance from Zoser, another master, or your spiritual guide, by visualizing this being projecting healing energies through your high self. After completing your prayer, send the healing petition to Astara. This is important because it represents a physical act in concert with your spiritual healing work. You can further your healing if you will take time to engage in this healing ritual at least once a day. It can be accomplished in 5 minutes or less. Although it has required many words to outline these steps, actually, they are very simple and require little time. 1. Write your name and briefly outline your affliction upon the healing or cosmic help petition. 2. Gaze upon it a moment. 3. Hold it between your hands with a prayer, then send it to us. After this, sit daily for a few minutes, mentally creating a sphere of white light around you. It is at this time that the healing power is released and amplified by those who would assist you. It is your efforts at indrawing this recharged life force into chakras of the etheric form, and in turn into the physical, which, pulsating through every cell, heals you. And that concludes First Degree Lesson 1. We will see you next week for the second degree, First Degree Lesson 2. Namaste, precious, precious souls. Thank you so much. This will be obviously recorded and be up on our Astara 1951 YouTube, so you can come back and listen to it and practice as often as you wish. Take good care. Namaste.